Lawyers for Buffalo Common Council President Darius Pridgen call the sexual abuse lawsuit filed against him last month frivolous. They want a judge to dismiss the case in civil court. As Two on Your Side was first to report, Pridgen's team filed papers yesterday responding to the initial lawsuit and citing reports in the Buffalo News that Pridgen's accuser claimed not to know anything about the case and admitted the abuse didn't happen, saying that she had never even met the New York City attorney who filed the case on her behalf. Joining us live right now is local attorney and legal analyst Frank Latempio III. Frank, we appreciate you coming in because this is sort of one of those cases that has a lot of us who are non-lawyers kind of scratching our heads about it. I mean, the supposed victim here, apparently not only to the Buffalo News, but also on a call that we assume was recorded with Reverend Pridgen's legal team and Reverend Pridgen on there as well, saying that she never filed this suit, never even met the attorney, and that the abuse never happened. What do you make of where this stands now with the latest paperwork filed yesterday?
Well, I would assume that they got this statement from a lady with the same name at a bare minimum, and that lady, who was a member of another church, said that that wasn't her and that this didn't happen. Now, of course, the plaintiff in this case could say, well, that's just, I have the same exact name, or I'm using a pseudonym, which sometimes in some of these cases they use Jane Doe or sometime a fictitious name to assert a case. The problem is that what I can glean from all of this is that it's possible that if this is a New York City attorney that filed something here, he or she may or may not have ever met their client. They may have signed them up through a Zoom call or just a simple conference call, taken the information, filed the complaint, and that was it. So maybe that attorney got duped is a possibility.
Yeah, speaking of the attorney, we should point out we have made repeated requests for comment, calling, sending emails, and haven't gotten any response. But the allegation here is a pretty strong one against this New York City attorney that what you're filing here is quote unquote frivolous, according to Reverend Pridgen's team. How will this now play out in court, right? Pridgen's team has filed a response. We talked about the court paperwork yesterday asking for a dismissal. How quickly does something like this move through civil court?
Well, what's going to happen is the plaintiff's attorney is going to have to respond in some fashion, and they could either maybe voluntarily withdraw the case because they realize that it's not the correct person, or they could file an affidavit, say it's a totally different person. This is the information that we received. There's a different date of birth, so on and so forth. Because in a complaint, there's many times you don't put a date of birth or social security number or any specific identifying information where you can actually determine what person it is. It could be a totally different person, but they're certainly going to have to respond. It's going to probably have to respond pretty quickly. I'm assuming that the defense filed a 3211 motion under the CPLR, and that's probably going to be heard within the next 30 days.
Finally, in the paperwork filed yesterday, Reverend Pridgen's team asking for reimbursement from the plaintiff and the counsel for expenses that were incurred in this. Again, what they're calling is a frivolous lawsuit. We don't know what the truth is here, right? Perhaps there is a victim out there. Perhaps this did happen, and I guess all of that will play out as this moves forward. But if, in fact, this turns out to have been a frivolous lawsuit, you would expect there would be some type of punishment or penalty associated with that, no?
Well, a couple of things. I think the attorney has some ethical issues with the appellate division. That's one. Two, I would believe that his client would certainly could possibly be on the hook for all those expenses, the attorney's fees, and quite frankly, I think that it would be ripe for a defamation action against the plaintiff and even potentially the attorney.
Yeah, and you imagine, Reverend Pridgen looking to clear up all the bad news that surrounded all this when we learned of this civil action. Something we will continue to follow again as it goes through civil court where this was filed. Attorney Frank Latempio III, we appreciate you helping us make sense of it.
Anytime. Thank you.